Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Monday, July 10th, second show of the day for y'all. Right now, we're talking about Foye Oluokun. I feel he was gypped by ESPN's linebacker rankings. ESPN kind of gets together every year and puts together a position group rankings, ranking the top 10 players at each position, giving some honorable mentions. Foye did receive honorable mention, but I think the fact that he's not in the top 10 is a massive oversight by the people that put this thing together. We're going to dive into it right now, but first, I'd like to remind you, follow me on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. Hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. You can also hit the notification bell, drop a comment in the comment section below. Really appreciate y'all's support. If you want to support the channel further, check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. So getting into these ESPN linebacker rankings, you can check it out, all of it at ESPN.com. They're ranking every position group. I think there's always these rankings during this time of year. It's kind of the dead period in the NFL calendar. So this type of stuff is always getting released during June, during July, when you're kind of gearing up for training camp. Looking at these ones, though, I just wanted to comment on it. I don't normally get into these types of things, but for me, I think Foye Oluokun really deserves more credit than he's received from a national perspective. So I just wanted to dive into this. So according to ESPN's linebacker rankings, which are said to be a combination of inputs from league executives, coaches around the league, scouts, and players, Foye Oluokun honorable mention. Not in the top 10. Honorable mention. ESPN had this to say about Foye. Oluokun had 128 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles last season. Maybe not the standout athlete like some others, but extremely durable and extremely consistent, an AFC executive said. Has a lot on him mentally in that system to get everyone lined up and plays it at a high level. I would agree with a lot of what this AFC executive had to say. However, saying he lacks the athleticism of some others. I mean, this is a guy that ran a sub 4.5 40-yard dash at the linebacker position. I don't think athleticism is a big issue for Foye Oluokun. But moving on, I mean, I think the fact that he is the green dot player, he's incredibly smart. He was having to deal with inexperienced rookies playing next to him last year, as the AFC executive said, getting those guys lined up and doing more than you're generally responsible for at the linebacker position. But yeah, led the league in stops for the Jaguars in 2022. This is a stat that kind of indicates how valuable the tackles are that you're making. He led the league in tackles that constituted a positive play for the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. You go back and watch when they needed a tackle short of the sticks on third down, it was more often than not Foye Oluokun that was making that play. And not only did he make a ton of tackles, he was a reliable and efficient tackler for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2022. I think if you're basing this on the last couple years, I don't know how a Shaquille Leonard is in front of him, has not been playing, or Devin White, who has not been playing well, certainly in my opinion. Honestly, think he should probably be in front of like a CJ Mosley as well for the New York Jets. There are a couple young players that I do think deserve to be on there ahead of him. I think Nick Bolton probably is in that range. He's super reliable. I also think Demario Davis is probably in the same range as Foye, but I get that he's been doing it at a really high level for a long time. So for me, I think Foye should be sitting probably around 7 or 8 on this list. He ends up honorable mention instead of top 10. I just think this is a guy that deserves more credit than he is receiving from a national attention and from a local standpoint. This is just a stud linebacker, and I think the kind of assumption is with his deal that he signed before the 2022 season, which the Jaguars were criticized heavily for, giving him that $15 million contract per year. I think he earned every single penny that the Jaguars gave him. And there's the out after year 2, after the 2023 season. I know the Jaguars have heavily invested at the position beyond what they did with Foye, bringing in Devin Lloyd in the first round, Chad Muma in the third round, Ventrell Miller in the fourth round this year. But I would not be surprised if the Jaguars figure out a way to keep Foye Oluokun beyond the 2023 campaign, because he is the heart and soul of the defense. He is the brain of the Jaguars defense. And he's one of their most reliable playmakers, both against the run and as a guy in pursuit, trying to chase down ball carriers, trying to chase down screens, receivers that have caught the ball, all that. Foye Oluokun does at a high level for me. So again, I think he should be top 10, probably 7th or 8th. Don't normally get into criticizing these rankings because they're just normally all over the place. But when you're a Jacksonville Jaguar, even if you are an elite player or a borderline elite player, which I think Foye Oluokun was, especially down the stretch for the Jaguars last year, you've got to do it for a long time to earn respect. And the Jaguars are going to have to continue winning football games. They're going to have to continue making the playoffs. And they're going to have to continue pushing for things like the AFC South Championship. They're going to have to keep pushing for, making it beyond the divisional round, making it to the AFC title game, maybe even making it to the Super Bowl for some of these players that really deserve more respect to get that respect nationally. It's just kind of the way it is in Jacksonville. But props to Foye Oluokun for having a tremendous season. I mean, the fact that he got honorable mention, even though he is in Jacksonville, I think kind of says a lot. I think he should be 7th or 8th on the list. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can hit me up on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. Follow Generation Jaguar at Generation Jag. Hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube, notification bell so you don't miss a show.